Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to On the Rocks. I'm Jamie Wilson and I'm going to be host for tonight. And hey, man, it's been a crazy week and it's just getting crazier because, hey, it's December, it's the Christmas season. So the first thing I've noticed is traffic is back. So be careful out there on the road, guys. And also, not just vehicular traffic, but people traffic as well. I've been seeing pictures of people going to the malls for Christmas shopping. And please, if I can just tell you, we are still under a pandemic, so please wear your masks. Face shields have now become super mandatory again. Anytime you're outside of your residence, you got to wear a face shield. And I know it's difficult because we're just filled with the Christmas spirit, and we want a semblance of normalcy to come back. We want to see our family. We want to see our friends. But we have to be sure that we are very responsible when we do that because we're still under the pandemic. People still can get sick. So please be sure, when you go out, that you're wearing your face masks, your face shields, you're disinfecting your hands, and you're maintaining social distance at all times. And it's crazy to do that in a mall. And yes, the spirit of Christmas is always around us. Right? It's a season for giving. It's a season for generosity. It's a season for family and friends. And I'm just glad that the technology exists today where we can still get together safely, via Zoom, via, a messenger call. Let's just be smart about it when we go out there. And yes, we can't help ourselves. As Filipinos, we're this is our favorite, season of the year. It's our favorite holiday. And I just want to remind everybody, please be safe. And if you want great gift ideas, there are a lot of online options, right? And this is one of them. This is a great gift idea from our friends at liquor.ph. They just sent me a bottle of Glenfiddich, 15 years old. Fantastic. Thank you so much. But they have a great gift idea. You can give a really cool personalized bottle of Glenfiddich to your, alcoholic friends this Christmas. You can send a personalized bottle with either a name or even a holiday greeting on the bottle. It is so cool. This goes for the Glenfiddich 18 or 21-year-old, and it's already one amazing gift, but you can level it up by personalizing it. So check out liquor.ph on how you can do that. Make sure you put your orders in. And also, we're shouting out to our good friends from Buenos Dias Panaderia who never fail to put a smile on my face. And this Christmas, you've got more reasons to spread the love from them. Their Milo buns and black crinkles are something I would love in my stocking for Christmas. So I'm sure a lot of other people would love to have their Milo buns and their black crinkles because really, that is Christmas cheer in my mouth right there. And of course, speaking of Christmas, man, we are so excited. I can't believe he has said yes and he's here. He's backstage. We have a truly precious artist on our show today. He is a national treasure. Not only is he a prolific composer and songwriter who is such an integral part of the Filipino musical landscape, but to the Filipino people, he has become the first sign that Christmas is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce Mr. Music Man himself and the king of Filipino Christmas music. Please welcome Mr. Jose Mari Chan.
Hello, Jamie.
Hi, Tito. Hi, Tito Joe. How are you doing?
Good, good. Now, Jamie, don't call me father of Christmas music. I always correct people when they call me that. I'm your little drummer boy that heralds the advent of the season. That it's time for Christmas.
It's
Anyway,
it's, ama- it's amazing how you have become the first sign that Christmas has arrived. All through the years and going through your catalog of music, your Christmas albums, of course, are the most streamed. But I had to go back. I've been listening to your first singles, your first albums, and it's incredible. But before we go,
I'm losing you. Your voice is fading.
okay, I'm here. Am I here? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I would just like to know, Tito Joe, what did you grow up listening to? What was the music playing in your household?
Okay, well, I turned 75 this year, by the way. So, which means that I was growing up in the 50s.
Hmm.
And I was listening and dancing to Bill Haley. Have you heard of Bill Haley?
Yeah, Bill Haley in the comments.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. Okay. And have you heard of Little Richard?
Yes.
Okay. Name me a song by Little Richard.
Lucille.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Gotta tell Aunt Mary about Uncle John. Okay. And then I also grew up listening to The Platters.
Ooh.
Only you can
Yes.
make this change in me. And I loved Nat King Cole.
Mhm.
Can you name a song by Nat King Cole?
Oh, not off the top of my head, but I'm familiar with his voice though. What's your favorite song, Tito?
Oh, I have several albums in my collection of Nat King Cole. But one of my favorites is When I Fall in Love,
Yeah.
It Will Be Forever. And I also loved the music, the songs of Doris Day. Can you name me a song by Doris Day?
I can't. I
Okay.
can't.
It's like I'm the host and you're my guest.
I know you're the one interviewing me.
Doris Day. Okay. Que será, será. Whatever will be, will be. Once I had a secret love. Okay. And I also, of course, loved Frank Sinatra. To me, there will never be another Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart.
Yes, yes.
The Moan, I can name you maybe 20 other artists in the 50s that I love to listen to, and somehow their music I absorbed in my subconscious, and it influenced me in my later years when I became a singer-songwriter. Like, for example, sometimes the way I sing, I imitate the style of Frank Sinatra. So you can't help it. I grew up with him.
I love Frank. Frank Sinatra. That's the music I grew up listening to. My father was a big fan of Frank Sinatra, Bill Eckstein, and Sarah Vaughan.
Yeah,
And
and
then my mom naman was musical theater. So
okay.
those are the
Well,
musicals I
I
grew up with.
remember your dad very well. I don't believe I've ever met him, but I remember him very well because from Iloilo, where I was born and where I grew up, um, we could catch or we could listen to AM stations from Manila, DZRH, DZMB, DZAQ, DZXL, and so the name Johnny Wilson, Bobby Nang, Lito Gorospe, Joe San
Yes.
Diego, they're all familiar names and voices that I would listen to. So I grew up listening to Johnny Wilson.
Thank you, Tito. That's really heartwarming to me. I would have loved to have been around to hear his first radio shows. I think he has served as an inspiration for me. I do a lot of voiceovers. It's always been my dream to have a talk show like this and interview people. And since we got hit by the pandemic and theater was canceled, this just came up as an idea. And, here we are today. So hopefully my dad is proud of what I'm doing.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
So, Tito, do you remember the first moment when you discovered playing music and singing?
Okay. Um, I remember singing the songs, but I don't remember because I never learned how to play the piano.
Mhm.
Growing up, my parents never got me a piano instructor, so I never could play the piano. I mean, a few chords now, and
Yeah.
on the guitar also a few chords, but it was always singing. I remember one of the early songs that I used to sing in front of my parents and their guests was 10,000 miles away from home, or 7 lonely days and tweedly, tweedly, tweedly da. Those songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember singing in front of my classmates. I don't remember how it came about, but I was in grade school and my teacher asked me to come up in front and to sing a song. I don't even remember what song it was. It could have been a Platter song, um, perhaps. Remember when doo 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 I first met you. Doo doo. I was my own backup singer.
That's fantastic. Coming from a singing family, also that always used to happen to me as well, and to all my sisters. We were four kids in the family. Monique is my sister, and I had two others. I have two other sisters, Trixie and Gina, and we sort of became like always entertainment whenever there's a family reunion, when there's a family get together, or if in school somebody had to sing. We always got kidnapped to put on a number or two.
What year
It's
was Monique in Miss Saigon?
She was in Miss Saigon in 1989, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so I have a story to tell you later. That
Okay.
she was the second choice that I had to sing Christmas in Our Hearts, but
Wow.
it never happened, and I'll tell you later why.
Okay. All right. We'll put that story. We'll save that story for later when we're talking about your music. Okay. So you
Okay.
remember singing in front of your classmates, singing in front of your family, but I read that you composed your first song at 13 years old, Tito.
Yes, 13 years old, because that was the time when on radio suddenly there was a new breed of artists coming to the scene. When I say that, what do I mean by before that? The Frank Sinatra, the Perry Como, the Doris Day, the Vic Damone, they were singing songs that were written for them.
Yes.
But all of a sudden, in 1958, when I was 13 years old, there was a new breed of singers and artists coming forward. These were singer songwriters. And the two prominent ones were Paul Anka and Neil Sedaka. Paul Anka wrote his own songs, and so did Neil Sedaka. So that sort of opened my heart that, hey, if they can write their own songs, why couldn't I? So that's when I first wrote my composition and several songs afterwards. But looking back now and listening to those songs, I feel that they were mostly derivative,
Okay.
meaning I was composing songs that sounded too much like the songs of Paul Anka and Neil Sedaka.
Okay.
So they were never released because I would be embarrassed to release them, saying that they're my compositions, when in fact, kinopia, kopia,
Ah.
they were derivative, as I call them. So yeah, that was the age when I started writing my own songs. And then, of course, it was a long journey. Little by little, I developed originality, and I would still borrow from here, borrow from there. All composers borrow. Some
Yes.
they don't borrow; they steal.
Well, I think
You know,
each me.
and many artists have been penalized for stealing. I bet you didn't know that.
Oh, I've heard of some cases
Okay.
where certain artists have either borrowed some music or some lyrics or even a melody. Borrowed. I use the term loosely, and
Yeah,
then later on they got into a lot of cases
that's
filed
correct.
against them.
In the U.S. especially.
Yeah,
All
they're
right,
very
but
strict.
yeah, that's another subject. Okay, please.
What's amazing to the Joe is like, how did you, since you didn't have a piano teacher back then, how did you compose your songs?
I compose in my heart and in my head. Music, you imbibe it. In fact, the sense of music is our first sense when we were born. That infants react to music naturally.
Yes.
And as we grow up, we are fed with those nursery rhymes and nursery tunes that we absorb them very easily. So, in my case, the music came from my heart and from my head. And many times, in fact, Jamie, I would get a poem and I would put it to music. For example, I'll give you a perfect example. The poem Jack and Jill went up the hill to get a pail of water. Remember that poem when you were a
Yes.
toddler?
Yes, Tito.
Okay, so I remember setting that to music.
Oh.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to get a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. See?
Wow.
So, yeah, and many other poems I set to music. But I can never release it because then say, "Oh, that's not yours, Jack and Jill. That's an age-old poem." Okay, but just to give you an example, that's how I developed my creative writing.
And then so from your first song at 13 years old, which you said are derivative, right? You developed your own sound and eventually you released your first single called Afterglow.
Yeah, but you see, um, I had a lot of musical influences,
Mhm.
and that's very important. And I can go back to that later on.
Okay.
Musical influences, and I remember these names are probably alien to you. Uh, have you heard of Victor Young?
No.
Victor
No, I did
Young was the composer of "When I Fall in Love."
not. Mm.
He also composed "Around the World I've Searched for You. I've traveled on when hope was gone." Um, and then I was also influenced by the music of Richard Rogers and Oscar
Okay.
Hammerstein. I'm
Yes,
sure.
Rogers and yeah. They
Yeah,
they do musical theater. I think they
yeah.
wrote Camelot if I'm not mistaken.
No,
Rogers and
no,
Hammerstein.
no. Richard Rogers and Oscar Hammerstein wrote Carousel,
So,
Oklahoma, Sound of Music.
Sound of
Okay.
Music.
Yeah. So, you know, all that music that I heard and I saw the movies, they somehow influenced my musicality, my music writing. Uh, who else? Ba? Henry Mancini has been a
Yes.
major influence. Of course, he came much later on. Then the Beatles, Cliff Richard, John Barry, uh, Jerome Kern. Oh, I love the music of Jerome Kern. You know the song, "They asked me how I knew my true love was true.
Yes.
I, of course, replied, something here inside cannot be denied." Beautiful music. You see,
Yes.
all of those, I imbibed them, and out came my own songs.
So going from your musical influences, which are very rich background, when you first released Afterglow, which was followed, I think, 2 years later, I think, or a year later, with a full length album. How did it feel to be a recording artist finally?
Okay, well, I didn't become a recording artist overnight. To give you a background, in 19 when I was in college, 63, 64, 65, 66, and then I graduated in 67. That was the time when you had combo festivals,
Hmm.
uh, campus music festivals in all the schools in Metro Manila. Saint Scholastica, Assumption, La Salle, Ateneo, okay? Um, and I had a singing group and I had a band called the Whiffin Poofs, and we would appear in these song festivals. And I don't know, for some reason or other, I would end up singing solo. And
Okay.
then I became, after that, I became an MC. An MC is called Master of Ceremonies. I
Yes.
would be the host of these campus festivals. Um, let's say, for example, in um, in the College of the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost at the time, I would be the host of this show on a Saturday night, and there would be about 10 or 12 bands that would guest. And so while the bands were preparing for their set, curtains would come down, and I would come out and tell jokes, or I would sing. I would accompany myself on the guitar. And ABS-CBN saw me. So one day in 65, they approached me and asked if I would be interested to host a TV show.
Wow.
65. So don't forget, I was in my sophomore year, junior year. And so they came to the house asking my father's permission if I could host this daily show. So naturally, my father said, daily show? He's going to flunk his college. So immediately he said, I don't think so. So anyway, namilit ang ABS-CBN and said, okay, maybe 1 day a week or 2 days a week, please, please. And my father must have seen the glint in my eyes. My father must have seen how enthusiastic I was, as I've always been since I was a little kid. So finally, he agreed. He agreed to allow me to host 2 days a week only, because it was a daily show, six
Yeah.
o'clock in the evening, on on uh, on two conditions. One, that I would not fail my college. I would not get bad grades. And second, that I would not be paid a salary by
Wow.
ABS-CBN.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay, so I became the host of this TV show called Nine Teeners, and it was a hit show. Um, all the teenagers were tuned in and get around 19ers, come around 19. I even composed the theme of that show. And that's how this independent record producer discovered me. And he approached me and said, I heard you singing the song that you composed, Afterglow. Ganda, very poetic ang lyrics, and the melody is unique. Would you be interested to make a recording of it? And so, make a long story short, in 1967, I made my first recording,
Amazing.
Afterglow, on the side A, and side B was the song Pines that I also wrote. So that's to give you a long answer to your short question.
No, but it's amazing because I mean, when we were growing up in theater, we also had the same stipulation that we had to have good grades because we've been doing theater since we were kids, so we had to have good grades. But it was such a strange request of your father not to pay you a salary.
But the wisdom of that. My father is a self-made businessman, and over the years, he worked very hard to build his business, and it was his dream that one day I would take over the business, which
Yes.
eventually I did. And so he was afraid that music would take me away from the business scene.
Ah.
So by getting paid for doing what I love, by getting paid for doing what I enjoyed, he was afraid that I would never stop anymore. See, that's the wisdom.
Yes.
And so thank God, because of his prodding and his inspiration, I continued to do my music and still work in the company, in the business. Yeah.
Well, that must be an amazing thing to balance your music commitments and your business commitments. Um, Especially when you started. I mean, you have been on the charts since 1965,
67.
and
1967.
67, sorry, 1967. And once when if you look at your Spotify stream, for example, Christmas in Our Hearts, it's got 10 million streams on Spotify. And that's not even counting when it was actually released before Spotify was invented. How do you find the time, or how do you balance your business commitments and your music commitments?
Well, fortunately, the demands of the music industry does not. I mean, the demands don't come every day. You see,
True.
and so when I started recording for Dyna Records, Vicor, Wea, Universal, it wasn't as though I would be required to be there every day in and day out. Okay. And then guesting on television show, I don't guest every day, so I'm able to balance the two. But more importantly, what's important is to set your own priorities. Okay, of course, my priority now is my family.
Yes.
Number two is my business. And then music is number three. So when there's a conflict, I always prefer the business because that's my bread and butter. That's my
Yes.
living. I do my living there. So when it comes to that, it's also your priority. That's more important.
And that makes it an easier choice, because once you set your priorities, it's an
Yeah,
easier choice because you
yeah. And
know what's more important.
again, let's say if there's a family event and there's let's say music, not a no-brainer. You have to choose your family first. Okay,
Okay.
and many times I've turned down requests to do concerts abroad, and thank God, I've covered the U.S., Europe, Southeast Asia, Australia, but I always give priority to my family. So let's say I have an offer to do a concert in New Zealand, example, but it just so happened that it will fall on the birthday of one of my children. I will ask them to please postpone it, even 2 weeks, so that I won't miss doing the concert and I won't miss celebrating birthday with my children. See,
And
priority,
it's
priority.
priorities. So you have toured the world, Tito Joe. Um, could you name what your most memorable concert,
Well,
something
each
that
one,
stands out?
okay, each one is memorable, but probably the most prestigious is my concert at Carnegie Hall in New York City.
Yes.
And I've done Bellagio in Las Vegas, uh, the Golden Nugget in Atlantic City. I've done London, Zurich, Vienna. You wouldn't believe that there are lots of Filipinos in Vienna, in Zurich, in London. I mean, right? I mean, you say, well, yeah, in Hong Kong, and dame, or
Yes.
Tokyo, Osaka. I've done concerts there, Malaysia, Singapore, uh, but mostly Filipinos are in the audience. And the Filipinos now, as you know, they're ubiquitous. They're all over the world.
Yes.
Fortunately for me, my songs have been recorded by uh, Malaysian artists, Chinese artists, uh, Japanese singers. Yeah, like
Wow.
Beautiful Girl has been covered in Japan. Beautiful Girl has been translated to Bahasa in Indonesia.
Fantastic.
Beautiful Girl has been recorded by Aaron Kwok in Hong Kong and Taiwan. Uh, so many others. So God has given me that precious gift of music, and every day I'm very grateful. I'm I'm very grateful for this gift of music, which has given me given me color in my life. Very grateful.
Well, I'm very grateful as well because with God blessing you with the gift of music and you sharing your music with us, we are all blessed as well.
Thank you.
So let's I'd like to talk about a few songs of yours in particular because I have fallen in love with I guess I was too young when this was released. I don't really remember it, but Love at 30,000 Feet is
Okay.
such a wonderfully playful song. And then
Thank
I
you.
realized it was you wrote it pala for Philippine Airlines.
No, no, no. I wrote
No.
that. No, I wrote that first in 1973, 73 or 74.
Okay.
Okay, Love at 30,000 feet. And it was only 4 years later when the late June Cruz, who was then chairman of the board of Philippine Airlines, contacted me and asked if they could use that melody as the jingle for Philippine
Ah,
Airlines. Yeah, and in fact, Sammy Davis Jr. recorded recorded that for a commercial for Philippine Airlines. It was shown in the U.S. To invite Americans to take Philippine Airlines. So yes, it wasn't written for
for
PAL,
them.
but it became a PAL jingle later on.
It's such an amazingly playful song, and I can't imagine what it must have felt like. I mean, Sammy Davis Jr. That's pretty cool, I must say. And
Yeah.
then another song that I fell in love with, which was "Big Beautiful Country."
Okay. Big Beautiful Country was composed specifically for a channel, for a radio and television channel. If you remember, when President Marcos declared martial law, the first thing he did was to shut down ABS-CBN.
Yes.
And he took over the facilities of ABS-CBN and gave it to Bobby S. Benedicto, Roberto S. Benedicto. And it was um, Bobby Benedicto BB, no, Bobby Benedicto. So it became BBC,
Ah.
Barangay Broadcasting Company. But it was really Bobby Benedicto. See? And I was approached by the executives of that channel, Barangay Broadcasting or BBC, to write a jingle for this network. And so we came up with the words "Big Beautiful Country," BBC, "Big Beautiful Country." So Minyong Ordonez, I remember Dennis Cabalfin, they helped write the lyrics of "Welcome World to this big beautiful country," you know, da 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 da. And so people who were growing up during that time would remember that was the the jingle of the station. Pam pam pa pa pam pa 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 pam pa 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 pam 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 pa.
Amazing. So, in terms of your songwriting process, when you write a song for yourself, is was it a big difference when you had to come in and write something like "Big Beautiful Country" that you were commissioned to do?
Well, almost always they would give me the copy line. When I say copy line, is you know, welcome world to our big beautiful country. Okay,
Yes.
so then I would have that line and say, "Welcome world to our big beautiful country." I could have said, "Welcome world to our big beautiful country." So the process of setting to music the line that is given to you. For example, sa lasa't lasa, walang tatalo sa Alaska.
Alaska.
That line was given to me by the ad agency,
Yes.
you see? Or long after your phone call has faded away, long after your warm hello has gone. Okay? So set that to music. Long after your phone call has faded away, long after your warm hello has gone, but no one throws a Hallmark card away. No one throws away memories. That became the
Oh,
jingle of Hallmark cards.
yes. That's amazing. That is incredible. I mean, I grew up with these jingles. I grew up with, and it's embedded in my memory. We were just talking earlier backstage about how, like, I can't remember the name of the person I met last week, but you know, Alaska, the theme song for Alaska, I remember quite well, and Hallmark Card, I remember quite well, and that's where it's embedded in our memories. It's amazing.
How about there was a soft drink before called Santa?
Yes, I remember Santa.
Okay, sing me the melody of the jingle.
That I don't remember. I remember drinking it. I was 2 years old, Tito Joe. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a jingle that I wrote for Santa, and it was sung by I can't remember, but they created like Sound of Music. You know, um, remember, children, when you want brother, just ask for "We want a Santa, we want a Santa, we want a Santa, we all do. Mas masarap ang timpla ng orange Santa. Mas masarap ang timpla ng orange Santa."
Amazing, amazing. So, I mean, with these things that we grew up, I just want to go back to a particular song that really touched me. I felt today. I've been listening to it all day, and I felt like it was the saddest song I'd ever heard, which is called "Refrain."
Oh,
It it
well,
it it's so it was so different from the usual canon that we're used to hearing from you. That's why I was so surprised. But it's such a beautifully sad song, Tito. How did that come about?
um, my girlfriend at that time, the year was 1969. My girlfriend and I had been going for like 2, 3 years. And right after she was graduated from the university, she decided to go to Japan to work as a missionary,
Wow.
as a lay missionary for the Assumption School in Osaka, Japan. And so I was missing her very badly, and that's when I wrote that song. Um, if you listen to the melody, you would you could feel or you could hear the influence of Italian music, you know, Italian or even French music.
Yes.
Da 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 dee, da 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 dee, da da dee, da 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 dee, da 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 la la la. Memories of you follow everywhere I go, down the high and byways of my days. So it's almost like an Italian an aria from an Italian opera.
Yes.
Um, so that was Refrain, and I remember recording that song, and I sent her a copy of the song, and I told her that that was my song for her, and she must have liked it because the next year she became my wife.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes. It is a very beautiful song, Tito. It's very
Thank
like I can hear the Italian influence. It's like an aria. It's also very cinematic. When you play it, it brings you back to a certain era, and it obviously worked. So congratulations. That's a really good song.
thank you, Jamie.
And then we go into Can We Just Stop and Talk a While?
Okay,
That is a fantastic song as well. Such
all right.
a
Um, okay, the year was 1973 again. I had already been married, and Vic Del Rosario, who was then president of Vicor Music,
yes.
called me and said that there was going to be an international song competition in Tokyo. It was called the World Popular Song Festival. And he was looking for a song to become the Philippine entry and to compete. with like 48 other nations.
Yes.
And he told me the truth. He said, Joe, I just wanted to know that I've also asked 3 or 4 other composers to submit their songs. And then bahala na, I mean, whichever Japan will choose, yun ang mag-representative ng Philippines. So
Okay.
can you come up with a song? And so I said, okay, it's a challenge, but usually composers get inspired by challenges. So I think in about 2 or 3 days, I was able to finish that song. Can we just stop and talk a while? So I sent it to Vic Del Rosario, who also sent it to Japan. And fortunately, my song was chosen by the Japanese jurors. And so, to make a long story short, my wife and I went to Japan, to Tokyo,
Mhm.
and I performed that song with a full orchestra in front of about 10,000 people at
Wow.
the famed Nippon Budokan Hall in Tokyo. And I competed against 48 other countries. I represented the Philippines. However, the song did not win any of the prizes, any of the top prizes. But the good thing about it is that back in the Philippines, it became a major hit for me. Can we
Well,
just stop and talk a while?
as it should. That's a beautiful song. It's an amazing song, and it even if it sometimes when you don't win certain things, you win in other ways.
That's
So I
right.
think that's
Yeah. So
fantastic.
I mean, the door was closed, but a window opened.
Yes.
The window and it was accepted by my own countrymen.
Yes.
So even if the Japanese judges or the international judges did not consider it an international song, but okay, I mean, all right lang.
At least the Philippines embraced it. You know.
Yes. And that led to, the success of that song, A Big Beautiful Country, Mr. Songwriter, many others, Refrain. It led to many other opportunities, other recording uh, contracts.
And of course, we I would like to, of course, find out the story behind the immortal, the eternal, beautiful girl that you have just
Uh,
told us that has been translated in other countries, covered by other artists so many times. What's the story behind that, Tito Joe?
okay. I was living in the United States for 11 years. When martial law was declared, um, our sugar trading business was completely shut down. Not because we were political enemies. No, it was just that President Marcos decided to nationalize the entire sugar industry. Okay. So prior to that, we could buy and sell sugar. We could buy from the planters and sell it to Coca-Cola, etc. But overnight, President Marcos said, from now on, sugar planters can only sell to the government,
Wow.
not to traders. And so my father felt that he was too young to retire, so we decided to move to New York, not to become American citizen. No, we moved to New York, and we set up a small company there, and we started to trade sugar out of Central America and South America. So I was there for 11 years. And during those 11 years, my musical horizon was widened. I was exposed to classical music. I was exposed to Broadway music. I was exposed to American country and Western songs. So my horizon became broader. All right. So I had that melody for a long time. And then little by little, I put in lyrics to it. So when I came back to the Philippines in 1986 after the EDSA revolution, we
Yeah.
came back and I returned to recording. My comeback my comeback song was Tell Me Your Name. You're lovely. Please tell me your name. Which led to an album called Constant Change in
Yes.
1989. And Beautiful Girl was the carrier single of that album. And, the album Constant Change was a major success for me. It became the first Diamond Record awardee in sales.
Yes.
No, no album, no record had outsold that album. And so that's the story of Beautiful Girl. So,
Wow.
yeah, 1989. But there were many other songs in Constant Change that became popular, like Please Be Careful with My Heart,
Yes.
Can't We Start Over Again, I Have Fallen in Love with the Same Woman 3 times, My Girl, My Woman, My Friend. So thank you, God, for that album. Thank you, Lord God.
It's an incredible album, and the gift of that album and giving us the immortalized "Beautiful Girl" among the other songs too as well. That eventually led to Christmas in Our Hearts.
Yes. And I have a story to tell you.
Okay.
Okay. Your sister is Monique
Yes.
Wilson, who
Yes.
at that time was part of the Miss Saigon group in
Yes.
London. She and Lea Salonga, of course, were the darling of Philippine theater. Okay. The first to make it to West End. Okay. West End meaning London. Okay.
Yes.
Um, with the success of Constant Change in 1989, becoming a Diamond Record awardee in sales, my record producer, the late Belia Tan, suggested for me to do a Christmas album. And so I said, oh, yeah, I have never done a Christmas album before. So, make a long story short, I finished the song Christmas in Our Hearts, which I co wrote with Rina Canyiza. Uh, the background story is long enough for another show. But anyway, to make it brief, the melody and the words called for a duet.
Yes.
Okay, because of the different key from the verse to the refrain, nag-change ng key.
Yes.
So I thought of making it a duet. Perfect Christmas song, a duet. So I thought of Lea Salonga. And when she heard the study tape, she liked it and she said, yes, I will be very happy to record this for you. And eventually Lea Salonga became my goddaughter in her wedding. Okay, but that's another story. Unfortunately, Jamie, she was a contract star of Octo Arts, a competing
Oh.
label.
Yes.
And Octo Arts refused for her to cross label. Okay? So, oh no, I was disappointed, of course, that Lea Salonga couldn't sing it with me. My next choice was Monique Wilson. I remember letting her hear the song and she liked it and she said, yes, I will be very happy to record it for you. When do we record? I said, Monday, Tuesday next week. Okay. That weekend, and this is a true story, that weekend, Monique went to Tagaytay. Sunday night, she called me to say that she had lost her voice. I guess from
Oh.
the cold or from walking too much and shouting in Tagaytay, she lost her voice.
Oh no.
All right. And the recording was already Monday, Tuesday of that week. And so Sino na lang ako kunin ko? Someone suggested, why don't you ask your daughter? Because your daughter had appeared in several school productions. I
Hmm.
remember one production of King and I, The King and I, which was again Richard Rogers and Oscar Hammerstein that we were
Yes.
talking about earlier as
Yes.
a major influence on my music. So I remember going into her room. She was a student at the Ateneo. She was in college. And I gave her the cassette and I said, Liz, can you learn this song? I'd like to do a recording of this with you. Oh, what is it? It's a Christmas song. When do we record? On Tuesday. Fortunately, she said yes. And the rest is history.
That's
So
amazing.
I felt that the hand of the Holy Spirit was there from the very start. It was really meant to be a father daughter tandem.
Yes.
Yeah. And perfect. So that's the story of Monique Wilson and Christmas in the Woods. And you can verify the story with her later on.
Oh, I'm going to text her right after our show. Why did you lose your voice? But like again, what we were talking about. A door closes, a window opens, and that's how it was meant to be. It was meant to be a father daughter duet,
Yes.
and I
And it's
think it.
why it's more effective, father daughter.
Yes, yes, and I think that's what's given it its immortality and its popularity. Because seriously, 10 million streams on Spotify. That's not even counting all the radio airplay. That's not. I mean, everybody knows this song, and so eventually, this led with your Christmas album, with Christmas in Our Hearts. Did this start paving the way for you to become our little drummer boy that heralded the coming of Christmas? Because all of a sudden it snowballed. There are memes of you coming out. There are posters of you coming out in September, for the past like 10 years, of you saying, "Okay, are you guys ready for Christmas in September?" How do you feel about that, Tito Joe? That you are our
Well,
herald of Christmas?
I am complimented. I shouldn't say flattered. I am complimented. And I know it's a blessing from our Lord. And so I have a grateful heart. I thank God for that gift of music. And I always tell people that whatever you do, how you how you use that gift or how you use that talent is your gift back to God.
Yes.
So, I in all my career, my music writing career, I made sure that I try not to write about negative things
Yes.
or about obscenity, you know. So everything you do, romantic, of course, I have a lot of romantic songs,
Yes.
but you try never to be negative and you always present a positive outlook in life.
And I think, Tito, that's so important for you, as your contribution, not only as an artist but also as a person to the people around you. I've had the good fortune of meeting some of your family members. I hang out with Franco, your son, sometimes. I hang out with Tini, who's also in musical theater, and I must say that is something that is so, your positivity and your energy filters down through them as well. Now, finally getting a chance to talk to you and meet you, your family, your children, and your niece are exactly the same way. And I think it is a good responsibility to have that, by only sharing positive things, because that's, if you're going to spread anything, spread love and cheer. I think that makes the most sense, and I think that's a great legacy for your music, that you are the herald of our Christmas season. And I can't thank you enough for sharing your gift of music with us. So we have a few questions from the comment section. This one is from Awi. What's your reaction to those Christmas posters that they make about you?
Initially, many of those memes are funny. Okay, so they made me laugh, peeping and say, malapit na ako. Sabi, but then later on, some of them were a little bit negative, and like mga Game of Thrones, winter is coming. So yeah, na parang na it was overdone, and there was one that I didn't like na, oh, malapit na ako, kayo matagal pa. Yeah. So, I mean, you cannot control social media.
Yes.
But the fact that they associate me with Christmas is a very happy thing, because Christmas is a joyful season. It's a season of giving and sharing and forgiving. And so to be associated with Christmas year after year after year because of that song is indeed a gift from our Lord.
As are you. You are a great gift to us and to every single Filipino. So thank you, Tito Joe. Tito Joe, I want to do a quick rundown of a set of 10 quick questions, if that's okay with you. Just
Okay.
something that comes, the first thing that comes to your mind, okay?
Okay,
So,
you don't have any other messages from your fans that you
well,
want to entertain?
from your fans, well,
Well, there was
a lot.
Amy.
Ayun, there. What is the feeling of being the face of the Burr months here in our country?
Okay. Well, I've answered that. I've
Yeah.
answered that, Bon. Yeah. Bon
Actually, there are a
Rivera.
lot of comments here that are just expressing their love for you. Not a
Roxy,
lot of questions.
may
Yeah,
I,
Roxy
may I
Modet,
read them?
sure.
Roxy, I'm so grateful for you, sir, for showing us young musicians in the scene sincere professionalism on the bandstand. I hope to work with you again in the near future. Oh, Roxy, yes, we've worked before. Yeah, I look forward to when this pandemic is over, when darkness is lifted, and we can again go on stage and sing our hearts out.
Yes. Here we go.
Fernandez Genro, wishing you good health, Sergio. And the same to you, Genro. Good health, joy in your heart. Lester Pretza, whenever I hear the song Christmas in Our Hearts, it reminds me of my childhood Christmas memory. Christmas caroling with my kababata, neighbors and relatives. Memory lane from the 90s Yuletide season. Thank you, Lester. So see, that's the gift for me, because this song is 30 years old. Okay.
Wow.
And you were not yet born when this song came out. And people have forgotten Refrain, Deep in My Heart. Can we just stop and talk a while? But Christmas in Our Hearts is my legacy, year after year after year. So how wonderful. Okay. Any other messages?
There we go. My friend Ace is here.
I've got nothing to ask, but I have my whole family watching. Oh, good evening. And good evening, Ace. Urieta. Yeah. Gold Soon. My pops, Ernie Soon, says hi. Yes, I was talking to Jamie about that. Ernie, I don't remember. I cannot put a face to the name, but Soon is a Ilonggo name. And I remember I had a classmate, family named Soon, who later on worked for Metro Bank. And his Chinese name is Biang Hood. And once in a while, we still text each other. Yeah, and I'm sure Ernie must have gone to the same Chinese school that I attended, which is called Hua Xiong. So say hello to him. Nikela Abadis, how about a new Christmas single? As a matter of fact, Nikela,
Hello.
I have a new Christmas album. It's called
Woohoo.
Going Home to Christmas. And it has 22 new songs. Songs like Let Love Be the Gift, Pagdating ng Pasko, Pinoy na Christmas, Christmas Moments, The Bells at Christmas, A Child Again at Christmas. Many other 22 new songs. So look for those songs on Spotify, or you can check with Jamie.
Yeah, we'll get some CDs.
Raf CMS, can I just say, Sergio, I've always regretted never saying hi to you during a couple of Ateneo Masses. I just want you to know that hearing you sing a little is quite wonderful. Thank you for sharing your gift. Ralph, next time I see you, you say, Joe Marie, I'm Ralph. And
There
we'll
you
have a
go.
picture together.
There you go.
Von Rivera, yeah, he had texted before. Millennial po ako, pero nung nakita ko yung article about sa highest grossing album in the Philippines, na-shock ako sa sobrang successful yung parang nahiya ako sa mga memes. Jose Marichan lang pala malakas.
See, there's so many here. Here's another one for Fernandez Genro.
Okay, you read it, Jamie.
Okay, so from Fernandez Genro, watching with a big smile on my face. We love you, King OG Christmas Carol. Yeah, you're the
Thank you.
OG.
Thank you, General.
Amazing, amazing. See, it's just an outpouring of love. Not a lot of questions, Tito Joe, because so many people love you, and so many people are so grateful for your gift, your positivity, your spirit, and your kindness, and your, of course, your music. And I think that's a true legacy of not only an artist but a good man.
Thank you. Thank you. Marlon de Guzman.
Ang bait.
Sarap maging ninong sa Pasko.
Yep, it's that time of the year where they're gonna be coming around.
His name there was linked to the Beatles. Did you see? It said the
No.
Beatles. Let's go back
Ah,
to that message. There, the Beatles.
yun, yeah.
Marlon de Guzman. And so he must be a big fan of the Beatles. So I have to tell you that the Beatles have been a major influence on my music. As a matter of fact, I have 2 or 3 songs na very obvious ang influence ng the Beatles.
Oh,
Okay, I'll tell you something very interesting. I have a song called A Day in the Life of a Song. Okay, from the title alone, A Day in the Life of a Song, there's a Beatles song called A Day in the Life.
yes.
Okay, so A Day in the Life of the Song. If you listen to the melody, you can swear that it's really influenced by the Beatles music. But you know what? The lyrics are made up of several titles of Beatles songs. You
So
know,
it's like a tribute.
yeah. So I don't have the lyrics in front of me, but oh,
Okay, I'm gonna Google it.
A Day in the Life of a Song.
A day in the life.
Of a song. I don't know if that can be found in Spotify.
Oh no, the only thing that's coming up is all the Beatles.
Yeah, A Day in the Life. But
After day in the life.
yeah, A Day in the Life of a Song.
But that's
Uh,
fantastic though. What a great idea to put their titles as the lyrics of the song.
yeah, and it's my tribute to the Beatles. And then I have another song called So I'll Go. Okay. And when you listen to it, it sounds like a Paul McCartney song. And you know, it was covered by an American artist. Did you know that?
Oh,
Yeah. A member of the Manhattan Transfer. Her name is
wow.
Janice Siegel. I met the Manhattan Transfer when they came to the Philippines for a concert. And, you know, we had dinner together. And she was curious to hear my songs. So I said, okay, I'll give you a set of my CDs. Okay? Without expecting anything. And I thought, when pagdating niyan sa US, she's not going to listen to them. But a few months later, she emailed me and she said that I actually like your songs and I would like to produce an album of your songs recorded by American artists, sung by American singers.
Wow.
And so that album was released in the Philippines called the Manhattan Connection. You
I
know,
love it.
an allusion to Manhattan Transfer,
Yes.
Manhattan Connection. So they recorded songs like Constant Change, So I'll Go, Walking. They did not record Deep in My Heart, Afterglow, Beautiful Girl, wala. But they handpicked the songs that they liked and they put in their own interpretation. And there's a song called Love Lost, which was sung by Lisa Fisher.
Okay.
Lisa Fisher is a very famous backup singer for the big stars in the US. And she recorded a version of that. Yeah, I wish that. And then they tried to market the album in the US.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they tried to sell the CD to American recording companies, but unfortunately, none of them took the offer. I guess maybe some of them said, "Who is Jose Marie Chan?" He's not known, you know. So dito sa atin here in the Philippines, we are very open to American music.
Yes.
We welcome American artists every week to do concerts here. But in the US, it's a different thing. It's a social club.
That's true. Tito Joe, I found the lyrics to A Day in the Life of a Song.
Good. Can you read to me the lyrics?
It feels like a long way from Abbey Road, that magical mystery tour. We had love, we had fun, we just followed the sun. The songs we sang have melody. The girl was a paperback writer. Her dad was a fool on the hill. We took a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. Because we both had to hide our love away. But I'll get back. Yes, you know I will. Strawberry fields forever. Where did they go? 8 days a week I labor. Your mother should know. Here I go on that long and winding road to get back, to get you back in my life. Picture yourself, you're in a boat on a river after doing a hard day's night. Penny Lane in the rain, come together again, and things will start getting better. I need you to help me along. I promise that it won't be long. A day in the life of a song. That's amazing.
See,
That is
so
amazing.
how many titles did you did you
I noticed like 8 titles already.
or
Ang
more?
galing. Ang
I mean,
galing.
even simple words like I will. See?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ang galing. And I think it is available on Spotify. I will
Feels
just
like
have
a
to
long
search for
way.
this.
Yeah.
Ang
A day in
galing,
the life.
galing, Tito Joe.
Yeah.
That is so
So
clever.
yeah, and I want one day to get to meet Paul McCartney, and I'll give him a copy of this song, and I'll bow before him, and I said, "You influenced my career so much. Listen to this song. Even the melody, it sounds like Beatles. Da 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 dun ching 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 da da na 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 pa 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 da da na na da 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 dee da da. Yeah.
I'm
So
sure
the
Sir
Beatles
Paul
were,
McCartney would love that.
yeah, because according to them, imitation is is a is a form of flattery and compliment, that you admire them so much you imitated them.
And in a very clever way, because this is I mean, it has a story. The way you strung your lyrics together with using the names of the titles, it may kwento yung kanta eh. And that's a day in the life of a song.
And my challenge, Jamie, is for you to pick the song titles of the Beatles in those lyrics.
Okay, okay, okay,
Hindi
okay,
mo na
okay, okay.
notice yung I will,
Oh,
but I'll be back. Yes, I will. I'll be back.
okay.
It's another Beatles song.
Yes. So of course, Abbey Road, Magical Mystery Tour,
The Long and Winding Road.
The Long and Winding Road, Fool on the Hill,
Yeah.
Paperback Writer, Ticket to Ride.
Yeah.
Uh, Hide Our Love Away. Hide Our Love. I love that song. Get Back. Oh,
Yep.
Beatles
Yep.
yan.
Yep.
And then Strawberry Fields. Um, on that long and winding road, yes, that's there. Get Back again. Picture yourself in a boat on a river. That's from Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Yeah. And also, you forgot the word girl.
Girl.
Yeah. See, beside the girl was a paperback writer.
Rider.
You
Yes.
only concentrated on paperback writer, but girl, oh girl,
Yes. And then you have A Hard Day's Night. And then you have Penny Lane.
yeah.
And then Come Together is a
No,
song.
Penny Lane in the rain.
Penny Lane in the Rain. In the
No, rain.
Rain.
No,
Rain.
that's another Beatles song. Rain.
Wow, ang dami.
Yeah.
And then
So
you have Come Together and then A Day in the Life.
yeah.
Ang galing. Ang
So I
galing,
put
Tito
the title
Joe.
in one song, and I call it "A Day in the Life of a Song," and I put it there, a musical tribute to the Beatles.
That is fantastic, Tito Joe. That's amazing. Oh,
Thank
may
you.
nag-comment pa, 8 days a week. Yes.
Yeah,
Si
it's there.
Robin Hood Cruz. Yeah, Robin Hood Cruz is a big Beatles fan.
Your mother should know. See, the lyrics are there. Your mother should know. Here I go on that long and winding road to get back.
There, every verse is the title of the song. Galing, no? What a clever,
Thank you, Robin
beautiful
Hood.
tribute. That is fantastic. Mind blown. Yeah, my mind is blown too. I can't wait to have a listen to this, and I'll spin this on my playlists because I can't wait to listen to it. Just reading the. Oh, here we have from Luis. Would you like to read it, Tito Joe?
Yeah. Louis says, "It's nice seeing you, sir. I'm watching with my mother, and she's smiling right now. Thanks, sir, for putting smile on my mother's face. One of your fans." Now, Luis, how old is your mother, and what is her favorite song of mine, so that I can sing it a cappella to her?
Ayun. Okay,
Okay. While
we'll
we're
wait for
waiting
her.
for his answer, what other messages are there?
We have quite a lot. Calling out Luis, I need you help. Or people are trying to remember and list down the titles pa from a day in the life of a song. People are discovering may mga one word, may mga phrases.
Correct.
Galing. Galing. So, ayan. Si Sky. Sky says,
No, Sly.
napaka-informative.
Sly yun eh, Sly.
Sly ba? Sly, yes.
Napaka-informative ng episode nito. Heads up, hi po kami, Tito Joe. Hi, Sly. Salcedo. You know, if I'm not mistaken, Salcedo is a family name from Iloilo. Because I'm distantly related to the Salcedos of Sara. Sara in Iloilo. But I could be wrong. I mean, you can ask where your parents are from. Okay, so
I
62.
think, yeah. I think,
What was that again?
there we
62
go.
years old. A perfect Christmas. Okay, Luis, I will sing for your mom a verse from My idea of a perfect Christmas is to spend it with you in a party or dinner for two. Anywhere would do. Celebrating the Yuletide season always lights up our lives. Simple pleasures are made special too when they're shared with you.
Thank you for
Thank
that,
you.
Tito Joe. Oh, you just made me cry. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, from Offshore Music, Tito Joe, that's for you. I think that even without Christmas in our hearts, you've already established yourself as OPM's premier songwriter. And with Refrain and Stop and Talk a While, your legacy has been assured. That's from Ellie Buendia, Tito Joe.
Oh, of
From
course. Eli Buendia. He's also an OPM icon. Yeah, Ellie. Yeah, keep writing, Ellie. Keep writing. Don't stop. Don't stop.
Yes, I think all the artists. I think that's what the pandemic has taught a lot of the artists now. That even if the world stops, we shouldn't. The artist should keep on going, write music, spread positivity, spread love, and spread your message, I guess. And as only artists can do. So Tito Joe, yun si Marlon.
Marlon,
Oh,
but di kumukupas ang boses mo, sir. Okay. One secret is don't smoke. Cigarette can destroy your vocal cords. And don't drink hard alcohol because that could affect your singing voice too. And then get plenty of sleep. 6, 7 hours, 8 hours of sleep. Not only are you building your resistance against the China virus, China virus, but also it preserves your voice. First of all, I don't really make birit. I don't have a powerful voice like many of our singers in the Philippines. Um, I have a mellow, crooning voice. I guess growing up from listening to Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra,
and then
doobie
that.
doobie doo, doobie doo 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 doo.
Okay, it's so funny because Franco is watching right now, and he
Oh, my
says
son.
sending over hugs to me. I'm like, you should send hugs to your dad, Franco.
I'm sure. I'm sure if I check my phone later, there'll be hugs from my granddaughter VV.
Yes.
I don't know if VV is watching because it's 10:15, and
Yeah.
usually she goes to sleep early.
True. Okay, Tito. All right. So let's go into the rundown of those 10 quick questions that I have for you. Just I'll ask you the question and the first thing that comes to your head. All right.
Okay,
Okay, let's start. Question number one. What is your favorite word?
it has to be love.
Love.
Love is the word that appears in most of my songs. Most of my songs. So love has got to be my favorite word.
Okay, question number two. What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word is like a curse word, and I don't want to say it here tonight.
Okay, Tito.
But
That's all right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, question number three. What turns you on or what excites you?
Apart from music, okay.
Yeah.
What turns me on? Beautiful eyes on a woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, question number four. What turns you off?
Negative people.
Yes.
Negative, abrasive people. They turn me off.
I agree. Okay, question number five. What sound or noise do you love?
Several things. I love the sound of the waves, the surf on kissing the shores.
Ah, yes.
But I also love the sound of the rooster in the morning.
Okay, what sound or noise naman do you hate?
Oh, I hate it when I'm driving and someone wants to overtake or in a hurry, and he blasts his car horn. Bop, bop, bop. That irritates me. Like I say, go, 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 go.
Go ahead.
So the car horn blaring behind me, I hate that. Parang they're so impatient. They're so
Yes.
impatient, as though, you know, 2 minutes could last. I mean, 2 minutes is important. Anyway,
Okay, so next question. What habit, behavior, or trait do you value most in a person?
being kind and generous. I really love kind people and generous people. In our industry, there will always be detractors.
Yes.
So maybe you can have 100 people saying, "Nice music, beautiful songs, Joe Marie," but there will always be one or two who will say, "No, no," you know. So yeah, you have to live with the good and the bad.
Yes, that is true. Okay, next question. If you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, who would that be?
I would prefer to collaborate with someone who's alive. Kasi sabi mo, living or dead.
Living or dead? Yeah, but,
So I would
if you're
prefer
in a
to
time machine.
I would prefer to collaborate with someone living. I know. Okay. All right. Seriously, I would have loved to collaborate with Henry Mancini. Henry Mancini has written some of the most beautiful melodies that I grew up with. I can go on for the next 30 minutes giving titles of his songs. Yeah, I would have loved. I wrote to Henry Mancini once
Really?
in the late 60s, and how I admired him, and I told him that some of my songs have been influenced by his music. And then I remember he wrote back and said, "Send me some of your songs." But I don't think that I ever did.
Oh no.
But it's okay. I mean, yeah, I never got to meet him.
Okay, next that's Henry Mancini. Next question, Tito. What is your favorite Christmas tradition?
Um, Christmas morning, when my family would gather around the Christmas tree to open gifts and to sing together and then have Christmas breakfast together. That's my favorite tradition. Of course, now because of the pandemic, we have to, sort of separate them. So maybe on one day I'll have my daughter with her family, and then another day my son and his family, etc., etc. Because I mean, we live in different times. The
Yes. Yes.
pandemic uh, is with us.
All right. Question number 10, Tito. When you get to heaven, that's gonna be a long time for now. Okay. But when you do get to heaven, what do you want God to say to you?
I would like our Lord to tell me, "Come home, son. You've done well."
That's beautiful. All right, one more question, one for the road, okay? And this is going to impact a lot of people starting out in the music industry, or
Okay,
writing their own
Jamie.
music. Yes,
Excuse
Tito.
me, Jamie. Can I
Yes,
just
Tito.
pick up this from the door?
Sure,
Hold on.
Tito.
They're knocking.
Sure.
Okay. Hold on. I'll be back. I'll be back.
See, that's amazing. Guys, sorry, I had to tear up. Franco, umiiyak ako kasi your dad just sang to a complete stranger to make somebody's mom happy for Christmas. Isn't that the most amazing thing? And now I know, and I'm talking to you, Franco. Now I know where you guys get it, because you guys are just as amazing as he is. You are his legacy, and that is, I think, completely fantastic. That it's so apparent in you, except us, Franco. We talk about Star Wars, right? But just listening to Josemari Chan's influences, it brings me back to the era. I can't help but think and remember my father, my mother, the musical influences that they have brought on me. Listening to pretty much the same music at home growing up. It was always either, like I said, Frank Sinatra or Bill Eckstein, Sarah Vaughan, or it was Broadway music. And it's amazing that these influences are there too. So there you go. We're back. So I was just telling Franco, kasi si Franco nag-comment, he's sending me hugs daw because umiyak ako. Because I think it was such a generous moment for you to sing um, Perfect Christmas just to make somebody's mother happy. And that just completely touched me. And thank you so much for that moment, Tito Joe. Let's go for one for the road. One last question.
Okay.
What words of wisdom or advice would you give to any artist that's just starting out in music?
Okay. Sing and write with your heart. Not with contrived emotions or made up words. You sing and write with your heart and soul. Okay. And don't limit yourself to what is popular or anong mga top hits of the day. Don't limit yourself to those influences. Okay. Uh, Widen your horizon. Listen to the music from the 50s, the 40s, the 60s, the 70s, and absorb them. And then also perhaps listen to classical music,
Yes.
because many of the pop music writers listen to Beethoven and Bach and Mozart and Tchaikovsky, and you can get a lot of ideas from those guys. So don't limit yourself to what is popular, because then you'll just sound like them. Widen your horizon. That's my advice.
All right. Thank you, Tito Joe. And for our last call, so having had so many achievements, Tito Joe, and having such an amazing, long-lived career, what though would you want to be most remembered for?
Yeah, that's a good question. I want to be remembered as a good father and a good husband, because those are the two things that matter in life. Because if your children um, go on the rocks, you have you have yourself to blame. Okay, so I was just talking to some friends of ours today, and if a person grew up being spoiled, okay, by the parents, he will grow up thinking that everyone owes him, so he will refuse to listen to others' opinion. He will insist that he is always correct, and so he will never concede. Um, I wasn't really particularly talking about Trump when I said he will never concede. Okay, no, I mean, all right.
That's true, though. That's true. You have a
No, I
point.
mean, you are accustomed to getting your way. Okay, so all right, so I want to be remembered as a good father, a good husband, and that I want to be remembered to have produced children who were productive and good citizens to their country.
That is fantastic. That's definitely a legacy worth having, Tito Joe. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to your new Christmas album, 22 songs.
Yeah, the title is Going Home to Christmas. And by the way, Franco
Hmm.
sings in one of those songs there.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and the song is called Christmas Moments.
Christmas moments. Okay,
And
I'm going to
various
definitely watch out for that.
various verses. I remember my Christmas when I was 10, blah, 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 blah. I remember my Christmas at 17, blah, 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 blah. I remember my Christmas at 25, blah, blah, blah. And then Franco's portion was, I remember my Christmas when we went around. We went to some orphans in town. We gave some goodies away. Happy faces made our day.
Oh,
We learned that giving and sharing is the real Christmas way.
that's beautiful. That is beautiful. So,
Thank
go,
you,
guys,
Jamie.
going home to Christmas. Thank you so much, Tito Joe. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us, your wisdom, your stories, and your amazing, generous heart. I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you for having me. And good evening to all your listeners, to all your fans. And may you have a blessed Christmas with all of God's loving blessings. And may you enjoy good health in the coming year, and have love, joy in your family, love and joy in your hearts.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, Tito Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, Jose Mari Chan. Thank you so much, Tito Joe.
Good night, Jamie.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you. Oh, wow. That was amazing. Okay. So I don't know, these moments, I'm an emotional guy. All right. So when these moments come and you don't plan them, you don't expect them, you don't think that it's going to get you, and it gets you. And I am never ashamed to show my emotions, and I am proud to say that I was witness, or created at least, that moment where Tito Joe Marichan sang for someone on our little show. And for me, that's Christmas, man. That is a gift that just keeps on giving. So thank you so much, Josimari Chan. You've just made my Christmas. I can't thank you enough. I just want to reach out and hug you, but I can't. Not yet. We're in a pandemic. But as soon as I can, Franco, I'm hugging your dad. All right. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our show for tonight. We just have a few reminders, ladies and gentlemen. Um, we've got some offshore music promotions for you guys, reminding you that alternate endings, the making of the final set, is out and it's selling like hotcakes. So you better grab your copy now. And there are two options to grab your copy. Okay, you can get a regular copy, or you can get a copy signed by Ellie Buendia. There are options. So make sure when you go to their website, you read it clearly and follow the instructions in order for you to purchase this amazing book. Now, also, Offshore has just signed a new band with a hot, tight jazz sound, man. They are called Extrapolation. Doesn't that just sound like a jazz band, right? They're called Extrapolation, and they're releasing two new singles, old school style, side A, side B. And those two singles are called Ghost and Villain. And of course, Jun Lupita's new album, Body 3 NMRK, is still out and it's still kicking butt. So make sure to check that out. All right. And of course, once again, a reminder from our friends from liquor.ph. They've got amazing Christmas deals for your discerning alcoholic friends on your Christmas list. They've got special bottle and bundle deals on whiskey, gin, vodka, and rum, especially old and rare bottles. And they even have gift certificates. And don't forget, they can send you a personalized bottle of Glenfiddich, 18 or 21 years old. So, check out liquor.ph for more details. I'd like also to thank, of course, Buenos Dias Panaderia. They've added more baking days for the holiday so that they'll be able to fulfill all the orders coming through. Check out their Facebook page and their Instagram page for more details. Please give the gift of happiness this Christmas. And my happiness, one of my happiness is their Milo buns are just incredible. So, guys, that wraps up our show for tonight. I hope you guys can join us next week. Now, we have no idea. If you look at our poster with the four pictures on it, there's a big question mark on December 23rd, our show next Wednesday. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I am sure of one thing: it's my birthday show. I'm turning 48 years old on December 23rd. So please, if you can, come join us. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm sure it's going to be fun. I'm sure it's going to be exciting. I'm sure something's going to happen, right? Or it could just be an hour of me talking. I have no idea what's going to happen, but come join me for my birthday and, send a little love my way. So, once again, thanks for tuning in for On the Rocks. To On the Rocks, this is Jamie Wilson reminding you to please, guys, stay safe, stay strong, and stay sane. And keep on rocking and keep on rolling. And if all else fails, just like Josimari Chan said, let the music keep you going. And if life finds you shaken or stirred, a little mixed up or on the rocks, what matters most is that you take your shot. But cheers, everyone. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas and good night.